At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. It is Monday morning. It is April 29th. Boy, we're going to be wrapping up the month here with some pretty mild weather. I mean, it was kind of up and down, warm and cold and windy and rainy and wet, snow in the higher elevations. And you know what? We're going to wrap up the month with, fairly mild temperatures, a bit of a warming trend this week. There is a bit of a discrepancy in those long-range forecast models, making it a little bit more challenging for us to figure out what to expect for Saturday, Sunday, maybe the potential for some wet weather in the forecast. You know, it's one of those things where if you have outdoor plans over the weekend, stay tuned. Keep a close eye on the forecast, because what you see today for the weekend may change tomorrow or the next few days. So I would highly recommend keeping a close eye on the forecast if you have plans. All right, let's get you out the door. Take a look at what we've got going out there right now. The storm track gets up to our north. See where the rain is? See where the snow is? It's up over Washington and Oregon. Now, there is a chance that the tail end of that may clip Northern California, in particular around Del Norte and maybe northern Humboldt County. But for the most part, that storm is going to stay to our north, and we'll be looking at dry conditions. It's a cool start to the day with about 47 degrees out at the Redding Airport. The winds are calm at the airport. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm looking out my window right now, the winds have been kind of gusting a little bit, although it looks like they have subsided just a tad. But bottom line, it's a little breezy in some spots out there this morning. Upper 40s, low 50s in the valley, 30s, 40s for the higher elevations, although Bernie right now, about 29 degrees. Right at that freezing point for Alturas, 33 for Hayfork, Weaverville, about 43 degrees, and 44 degrees in Hoopa and Willow Creek. Mid to upper 40s right now for the coast. Here are your temperatures that we saw yesterday. Yeah, right around 80, give or take, for the valley yesterday afternoon. Just a gorgeous, beautiful, sunny, warm day. Temperatures, though, in the mountains were obviously cooler, although burning not bad, with a high of 72. 63 degrees for Chester. Quincy saw a high of 72, and low 60s for those daytime highs yesterday on the coast. But today, we actually may shave off some temperatures, some degrees off those temperatures. A little bit cooler, but still mild. In fact, right around normal for this time of the year in the valley. Now, notice I put the word isolated for the north coast. That's mainly going to be for Del Norte County, including places like Gasquet, of course, Crescent City, but to the north end of Humboldt County, Klamath, for example, you head out towards Hoopa. You may see a stray sprinkle or a light shower early through the morning hours, really. And then going into the afternoon, it's all pretty much gone. And of course, you can see temperatures cool-ish, depending on who you talk to. But mid to upper 50s for most of the higher elevations, although the eastern mountains mid-60s. Trinity County, those low 60s for those daytime highs. Here's a look at Futurecast. And again, you can see just that clipping extreme northern California. It's not going to amount to much. And then it's completely dry even for the north coast by the afternoon, and not to mention going into tonight. So mainly sunny skies for the rest of us. Now, you look at the winds, fairly calm, although there are a few spots, especially in the foothills west of the valley, where we are seeing some gusty winds in some areas here. And as I mentioned, I've been looking out the window this morning and seeing those winds kind of blowing from time to time. We take a look at your forecast for today with those winds. A north-northwest wind. We can see gusts upwards of around 20 miles per hour taking you through the afternoon, especially for the valley. But of course, looking at some gusty winds in some areas, even for those higher elevations as well. All right, let's go and take a look at what we've got going on here for today. Temperatures, again, right around normal for this time of the year in the valley. As I mentioned, cool-ish. Again, depending on who you talk to. In the mountains, 50s and 60s there. Mid to upper 50s along the coast. And looking at your 7-day outlook, boy, I tell you what, you've got, of course, got a warming trend going over the next few days. Low to mid 80s for the valley by Thursday, Friday. It's dry. It's warming up. Now notice, Saturday and Sunday, I put the word chance in there. That's because there is a chance for showers. But it's not guaranteed. I can tell you that much right now. And the thing is, if you want to know more about that, learn a little bit more about that, stick around a little bit later. We're going to be doing that deeper dive forecast and we're going to take a look at all of that. We take a look at your north coast, inland, and not to mention your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures upper 50s to low 60s later on, of course, mainly in the mid to upper 50s for the coast, right? And then for the inland areas, again, that gradual increase, that's also the case for Weaverville. And I put the word chance there for all of Northern California over the weekend because we are expected to see that drop in the temperatures, possibly, and not to mention that chance for some showers in the forecast as well. Let's take a look at some of those cameras out there this morning to see what it looks like as you're heading out the door. And there is Main Street Chico, and of course Highway 32. Looks like you've got the sunny skies out there this morning. We take a look at what it looks like at Highway 99 at Neal Road. Not a cloud to be seen. Plenty of sunshine and traffic is flowing nicely. Let's go ahead and take a look at your Crescent City camera. And boy, I tell you what, it just, I've been trying to get this camera to work properly for me, but looks a little wet out there out at the Harbor District. And you know what? I'm going to double check something. Let's take a look here real quickly. And yeah, that's the latest image coming in. Let's refresh it and get you into a large, I'll go to right here. That's kind of a, the live view that we're looking at right there. Wow, gorgeous. Some beautiful colors out there this morning. And yes, it looks like they're a little wet out there this morning. But overall, you can see that has cleared out. Now there is going to be, as I mentioned, a slight chance for a few showers in some areas here as we take you into the morning hours. Taking a look out at north of Trinidad in Elk Country, we're actually seeing some clouds out there, but overall, it's not that bad out there. You can see, of course, it's kind of hard to see, but of course it's dry. That's kind of the key factor right there. We take a look at Lake Oroville, North Forebay, and of course Lake Oroville State Recreation Area. Just a slight breeze. Kind of see that ribbon there, kind of a nice little indicator of what the winds are doing over there. And of course the lake is a good indicator, and it's looking pretty smooth out there. So not much in the way of wind, but sunny skies. I wanted to share this. Last Friday, we were talking about some of our favorite camping things that we do, and my son loves Jiffy Pop. So we're talking about the Jiffy Pop, so I love this. Lisa Stevens, who was out at the Hat Creek Resort over the weekend, was asking how the weather would be, and it looks like out at the Hat Creek Resort store, they had Jiffy Pop in the store. And of course, it also looks like they had some of the other important things, such as I'm sure there was some chocolate and some graham crackers in that basket as well, with those marshmallows, and of course the marshmallow sticks to roast your marshmallows. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. I hope you had a good time over the weekend and enjoyed your camping trip. Hey, you know what today is? Today is Monday, and it is time for our Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. It's brought to you by Cottonwood Veterinary Clinic and Cottonwood Small Animal Clinic. Of course, they're the big sponsor there. Without them, we wouldn't have this awesome segment that we do with Sharon Clay over there at Turtle Bay. And it was interesting, my son last week was talking about how he almost stepped on a rattlesnake during his training for running. And he said it didn't have a rattle. He says, you know, he said something along the lines of, through evolution, some of the rattlesnakes are actually not being born with rattles, and none of them are really. And on top of that, some of them just never grow rattles in general. So I thought it was kind of interesting, but we are going to learn more about rattlesnakes, the differences between rattlesnakes and gopher snakes, and kind of the story behind their rattles and how they can fall off and how it all works. This is a pretty long one, but I think it's really interesting to learn more about rattlesnakes, because there's so much that we need to learn about rattlesnakes and how they can help us and how they're a big help, but also kind of understanding the differences, because gopher snake look like rattlesnakes without the rattles, but rattlesnakes can also have the rattles fall off. Again, let's get right into it. Hello everyone, Mike Krueger from Weather NorCal. This is another edition of Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. We've got two special guests today, actually four special guests today. We've got Adrian and Sharon from Turtle Bay, and we've got Noodle. Precious, and we've got
Auburn.
Okay, so we have a rattlesnake and a gopher snake. Can you at home tell the difference between the two?
Very simple, you know. you want to know how?
Why would you? Because you're holding the one.
That's it. You got it. That is correct. I am holding this.
I thought
one.
I was being smart.
So,
Yes.
but yeah. So, what do you want to talk about, Mike?
Well, let's talk about a couple of things. Number one, I was talking to my son, and he almost stepped on a rattlesnake. Or at least he thought it was a rattlesnake. I told him it was a gopher because it didn't have a rattle. He says, but they don't have rattles sometimes. And I'm like, no, that can't be the case. And then I learned from you for a couple of things, that they can lose their rattles.
Not only can they do lose their rattles and grow them back.
Yeah, okay. So tell us about this rattle.
Okay,
here.
so a rattle is actually created by their shed. So they shed constantly. When they're little, they're born with one little, what we call a bud, one little piece. And then every time they shed, this is just a piece of scale. And then they rattle together. They get to a point where they get so long and top heavy and fragile that they'll break off.
Okay.
Sometimes they break off like halfway down so they still have a good rattle. Occasionally they'll break off all the way, which you can see actually Precious is broke down all the way right now.
Yeah,
and that's her rattle, his rattle in your hand.
Okay, interesting.
So next time he sheds, it'll add another one and another one. So people who say you can tell their age by their rattle, not true.
One of the myths.
But they do make more, so this is after so many sheds
Yeah.
that we see here. So it's not an actual, there's not actually like dirt or something inside the rattle. It's not like a typical rattle. It's the what would you say?
the
The
scale.
scales.
Yes, the
The
scale.
scales hitting each other. So it's really interesting how that works. Now he also mentioned that through evolution, that some rattlesnakes don't actually have rattles.
That's true. Now we're not seeing that so much around our area here, but it is being seen in many populations. And that's really one of the really big messages, because they are instinctively have a defense of rattle. Okay, but what we do as humans is we go, oh, it rattled, it's a rattlesnake, kill it. But then you have a rattlesnake that's hiding that doesn't rattle and it doesn't get killed. So the genes that are getting passed on are of rattlesnakes who don't rattle. That is a problem. And so we're getting more and more rattlesnakes that don't rattle to warn you. You want them to warn you.
Yeah.
You want to be running in here.
Yes.
Be like, thank you.
This noise.
You want that, and then you go, thank you, I will give you your space about 6 feet, and you're completely safe. What's happening is they're not rattling, and now there's populations that are actually not even growing the rattles.
That is
So
weird.
it is really kind of scary of what we have done by our behavior in killing rattlesnakes.
Well, so then the next thing is how do you tell the difference between the two? If they don't have a rattle, now you say, okay, there's two different types of sheens
That's
that we
correct.
have on there, right?
So we're going to show this. So Adrian's going to hold Precious up so he's safe from me, so I can hold him a little closer. Okay, so this is a gopher snake. You can see they are mimics. Okay, their patterns are very, very similar. All right, but if I put in the sun here, you can see the sheen. So that's why people think snakes look slimy and wet, because their scales have this sheen to them. Okay, so now Adrian, take a step back for us. Mike, gonna put him, do you see there's no sheen?
Yeah.
Or
They have
very
a
little.
They're very dull. There's a little bit, yeah.
There's a little bit, but
Yeah.
those guys have a much smoother scale than the rattlesnakes do. If we were to actually feel the rattlesnake skin, it feels like sandpaper.
I'm not going to try to, though.
Please don't.
That's good. And it's called a keeled scale. So you got your keeled scale on there. These are your smooth scales. These lay down like the shingles on a roof. And so they're nice and smooth and tight and soft. And you want to hold her?
Oh, yeah.
You can hold her.
Here, I got the.
And
I was going to put the rattle down, but then yes.
There you go. And you can hold her and you can feel how soft and smooth
Yeah.
she is. Now also, of course, look at the faces. So her face is sort of a tube. It's the same width as the body. And notice that Precious is got that triangular face.
Yeah.
Diamond
But
shape.
here's the problem with that. If these guys get really scared, they'll puff up. They'll put air in their cheeks to make their face look more diamond shaped, so that they scare away predators into thinking. The whole reason a gopher snake looks like this is a mimic. It's called mimicry. It is a camouflage method to protect them from predators, to think that there's something that's going to harm them.
Interesting. All right. Well, good. Well, I think we learned a lot here, and really it was sparked. The conversation was sparked by my son saying
Good
that
job,
some
Ian.
rattlesnakes don't have rattles. I thought, no, that's a gopher snake. and then I discover from you that there's so much to it. So great,
What
interesting
he really
stuff.
found out was that his son is smarter.
My son is smarter than me. He is.
No, but yeah, absolutely. And we just want people to know, if you see a snake and you're not sure, just give them 6 feet. That's all you
Yeah.
need. These guys are non-aggressive species. Just give them some space, and everybody can live together.
We can.
We all can.
Including the 3 of us. Sometimes. All right, maybe not. All right, well, thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Sharon. And thank you all so much for watching. Hope you learned a little something about rattlesnakes and gopher snakes. We'll see you next week on another edition of Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. Once again, I want to thank Cottonwood Veterinary Large Animal and Small Animal Clinic for sponsoring Turtle Bay Exploration Park Wonderful World of Animals. Boy, what an interesting segment that was. I thought it was. I mean, I might be geeking out and nerding out, but really what it comes down to is if you're confused and you're kind of learning the rattle, sometimes the rattle may be there, sometimes it may not be there. And then, of course, maybe the head shape they could mimic the head shape as well. So really what it comes down to, it sounds like to me, is that look for that sheen. If they have a dull look to their body, then, and it doesn't have much of a shine to it, then that's most likely going to be a rattlesnake. And of course you want to keep your distance. However, if you see it and it has a nice little sheen to it, a nice little shine, it looks slimy, it looks wet, then most likely it is a gopher snake. But it's, you know, always good to err on the side of caution and just kind of keep your distance no matter what. And of course, that's the whole purpose of the gopher snake, trying to mimic the look of that of the rattlesnake. So interesting stuff. I thought that was kind of fun and good information. But bottom line, Sharon always says, don't kill the rattlesnake. There's no need to do that. You can you know, always find different services that can capture them for you if they're on your property, and then they'll put them out somewhere else. But yeah, she's not a fan of, and she'll tell you that, anyone will tell you that, especially as an animal enthusiast, to not kill the animals. All right, what do you say we get to the forecast here? Before we do that, though, I'm going to take a look at some of the comments here and say good morning to everybody. Dean and Sandra. Sandra, of course, appreciating the cruise coverage that I did on Friday. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Again, I want to thank Banner Realty for allowing me to use their Wi-Fi. There was a little bit of a glitch in the beginning. It dropped on... The signal dropped on YouTube for some reason, but I was able to kind of get that back up and running here. So minus a few little glitches here and there at the beginning, for a good solid hour after that. It was a good solid signal and just a good show. And from what I understand, a lot of you were able to sit down and enjoy it with loved ones to enjoy the cruise. So glad you were able to do that. And I do have that on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, right? And then from the to find my YouTube channel, just type in Weather NorCal, and you'll find it there. And then, of course, just go through some of the most recent videos, and you'll find it. I uploaded it there, and you'll be able to watch it if you want to go back and check it out. Let's see here. We got Catherine in Castle saying it's 28 degrees and clear. Please warm it up a tad. I wish I could. Definitely chilly out there this morning for some of those higher elevations. So definitely kind of interesting. All right, let's get you right to the forecast now. Of course, it is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. We take a look at those current conditions out there right now, and you can bet it is chilly out there for some of those higher elevations right now. 32 degrees for Alturas, 29 degrees in Bernie. Of course, we take you out to Hoopa at about 45 degrees, and there is a look at the valley. You know, pretty chilly right now at the Redding Airport at about 47. The winds there are calm, but there are some spots in the Redding area. The winds are actually a little bit on the breezy side, and I do expect those winds to be a bit of an issue here over the next several days. It's not going to create any power outages or create any major issues, but the pollen's blowing around, right? That's going to be the main thing. So mainly dry and warm to start to the week. Still a bit breezy in the afternoon hours for the next few days, but a warming trend as we approach the weekend. But then possibly cooler with a chance for some showers this weekend. That's why there's a question mark there. Cooler with showers this weekend? It could happen. It's not guaranteed yet. It's one of those things where we're seeing a lot of discrepancy in the long-range forecast models. So it's one of those stay tuned type of forecasts if you have outdoor plans. So today, notice the winds north-northwest, Gusts upwards of around 20 miles per hour, give or take. They subside a bit going into tomorrow morning, then tomorrow afternoon, the winds begin to pick back up again, possibly upwards of around 20, 25 miles per hour. Now, there's actually a disturbance that'll be kind of a bit of a what we call an inside slider that may be impacting our winds even more so by Wednesday, and I do expect some stronger winds going into your Wednesday. Could see gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour. All right, so here's a look at the storm track. Think of this as just a track that the storms follow. So most of those storms are just basically up to our north. See this one here, there's another one here that's running through the jet stream. Now, the one that's moving through today, right here, this may clip extreme northern California. So places like Crescent City, Gas Key, Klamath, Hoopa, for example, may see a stray sprinkle or light shower this morning, but overall should be fairly dry. So again, that storm track, here's the next storm system. You notice how it stays to our north. The storm tracker's up to our north. However, I've got my eyes on this. By the end of this week, and in particular this weekend, this particular forecast model takes this low pressure system and we see it dig down to the south. Now, what that would mean is, number one, significantly cooler temperatures. But number two, look at that, maybe a chance for some rain Saturday, Sunday. It pushes eastward through the weekend and into early next week. The cooler air will still be in place early next week, but that could also mean wetter than normal conditions. So the Climate Prediction Center is taking a look at that trend we just saw, and it's actually projecting that we could be looking at some wet weather, especially over the Pacific Northwest, Northern California, and then drier into the normal conditions of the south. So again, let's take a closer look at that here. Here's the jet stream. There's the storm track. That storm system moves off to our north. This storm system moves off to our north. So Wednesday of this week, we got those winds with that bit of a slider coming in, right? Thursday, there's Friday. Now Friday, this warmer air gets a little bit closer. So I think the peak of our warming trend this week will be Thursday, Friday, where we could see some low to mid 80s for your daytime high. So it's warming up a bit. Right? But then again, you see how this is diving down the south. It pushes that warmer air to the south. Our temperatures drop as a result. And again, of course, you saw that chance for rain entering the picture as well. So there's a look at Sunday. There's a look at Monday. The cooler air may still be in place. Now, again, one thing I have to mention is that the European forecast model doesn't take this low and bring it this far south. It keeps it to our north. What that would mean, temperatures not dropping much, and we'd be looking at dry conditions. So again, it's one of those stay tuned, because right now there's a lot of uncertainty in that long range forecast. But again, the Climate Prediction Center is jumping on that ship by saying, hey, it could get wet and it will be, and it could be cooler than normal. So again, kind of wait and see. Looking at your wave heights for today, upwards around 8 feet heading out to sea. You'll notice just a tad increase, especially coming in from the north and west as we go into your Tuesday. But your marine forecast for today, north winds at 5 to 15 knots, waves from the northwest at 8 feet at 11 seconds, and there are no advisories for today. Here's a look at your neighborhood forecast. Starting off with Trinity County, you've got those temperatures. See how they're staying in the 70s, but we're seeing a dip in the temperatures. Now again, when we look at the Saturday, Sunday forecast for all of Northern California, you will see the word chance in there. That's what I was talking about, the potential for some showers in here. So that is not guaranteed. And most likely, as we approach the weekend, we're going to see the temperatures change, and we're also going to see the potential for rain change. So stay tuned if you have outdoor plans over the weekend. Your North Coast neighborhood forecast to the south in southern Humboldt County, there you can see temperatures in the 50s there, 56 for Ferndale, 56 in Fortuna, and 54 degrees in Rio Dell. We take you up to the north with 62 degrees in Hoopa. Now, as I mentioned, early this morning, Hoopa, Willow Creek borderline, right? I think you can see a chance for showers. McKinleyville, Trinidad, maybe it's a slight chance for a sprinkle or light shower this morning, not to mention Smith River. All these areas could see that potential for maybe a stray sprinkle or a light shower this morning. But for the most part, it's dry today. All right, so you take it out to Siskiyou County, it's going to be dry there. It's going to be warmer as we go into the next several days. Out towards Scott Valley, 53 out towards Fort Jones, 57 in Callahan and Etna, about 55 degrees. Central and eastern Siskiyou County. Notice the north winds, 6 miles per hour to the east, but maybe a little bit stronger as you head closer to Mount Shasta City with about 15 miles per hour. How about Modoc County? Well, looking at those winds from the northwest at 14 miles per hour. So again, a little bit breezy out there this afternoon. Temperatures mid-50s, although upper 60s to about 70. So again, much warmer by the end of the week, but then maybe that dip in the temperatures by the weekend. There's a look at your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast for Bernie. Of course, you got temperatures low 60s, low 70s though by Thursday and Friday, with that potential dip in the temperatures later on this upcoming weekend. Your Lake Almanor and Lassen Park forecast. There you can see out towards Chester, a high of 62, 58 degrees for Prattville, and Summit Lake about 44 degrees. Take you to the south, and there you can see Paradise 7-day forecast. Here's your 7-day forecast for Susanville. Temperatures across the board over all of Northern California. We'll see that increase in the temperatures later on this week, especially by Thursday and Friday. Your Valley neighborhood forecast, brought to you by NorCal Tractor, is looking at temperatures in the mid-70s, low to mid-70s for your daytime highs. Now, that's actually normal for this time of the year. There's nothing unusual about these temperatures we're going to be experiencing today. Again, what you're not seeing here, at least until you look at that, is the potential for those gusty winds at times, especially this afternoon. So we look at our 7-day outlook, just kind of taking a look at Redding here. Temperatures around normal for this time of the year, Monday and Tuesday. But then temperatures inching their way up later on this week. We're in the low to mid 80s here by Thursday and Friday. So yeah, it looks like it is going to be warming up. Shouldn't be too bad out there as far as those temperatures are concerned. And really overall, not a bad week. This is the kind of week that many of us wished we had during the entire week of cool April nights, because there's not any rain in the forecast. It's going to be pleasant out there. But of course, that's the curse of cool April nights, right? That's just how it works. It's frustrating. Yeah, I mean, because we did see some showers for some of those show and shines. Not a ton, but if you happen to be in that show and shine and your car was there and you don't want it to get wet, you probably weren't too happy about it. So yeah, there it is. That's the bummer. But hey, you know what? It's all done and over with, and now it's time for us to just get out there and enjoy that beautiful weather. Hey, you know what? Before we kind of get to everything here and kind of start wrapping things up, you know what? For a little fun, let's take a look at what we got going on here with our days. It's a national, taking a look at that national calendar. Nothing too terribly interesting today. But, if you're looking for an excuse to eat something different or special, how about National Shrimp Scampi Day? Do you like shrimp scampi? Are you a big shrimp scampi fan? Well, today would be a day to maybe get out there and enjoy. And, you got to have a National Zipper Day. I mean, seriously, sometimes you're thinking, like, where do they come up with these? National Peace Rose Day. Okay. Interesting. That's a beautiful rose, at least the picture there. National Bubble Tea Day. Okay, here's another, this is kind of interesting. National Prepare-a-thon Day. I'm thinking that might be just being prepared for different natural disasters, making sure you have an escape route if you are, for fires, like making sure the kids know where to go if there's a fire, which is actually very important. I remember when my son was in the Cub Scouts, that was a section that we learned about, and that is drawing out a map of your house and drawing out all of the different exits. That's actually very important. So yeah, let your kids know where they should go should there be a fire, and the best thing for them to do. National Military Brats Day. I'm sure military brats love that day and appreciate that. So all right, I thought we'd take a look at that. That's always kind of fun. But overall, folks, it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day out there. Let's take a look at some of those cameras so we know what to expect heading out the door. This will start off with Elk Country, which is just north of Trinidad, and it looks like it's a dry start to the day. Have yourselves a wonderful Monday, and we will see you tomorrow morning on Coffee with Krueger starting at 7 a.m.